So any products that you see in these videos, you can actually click on the link in our information and purchase them. This does help support the channel. There is no additional cost to you guys. So here are my tools. I've got an impact gun, an extension cord, jack stand. I've got the pad. I've got my breaker bar and the lugs that you're going to need. I've got the 2 keys I need to take off the locking nuts, and I've got all the nuts that go with the rim. This is the socket set for my impact gun. This is the other key. And then here's my torque wrench. And a full socket set just in case I need anything else. And on the floor you can see I got a jack. Step 1, while the car is still on the ground, you want to loosen the nuts a little bit, just so when you lift it, you can actually open them all the way. If you have an air gun, you can use your air gun. If you've got an electric gun, you can use your electric gun. If not, you can just use a breaker bar. So I'm being careful because I have locking nuts on my car. I want to make sure I don't accidentally put this on a locking nut and strip any of it. Okay, now here's the locking key. I'm going to use this one to just loosen the locking nut. So depending on what kind of locking key you got, it's probably better to actually just put it on the nut rather than on the breaker bar, as you could tell. So for safety, you should use a jack stand. Once the car is being jacked up, you would actually place it here under either the axle, or you'd put it under the pad spot that would lift the car. I'm going to choose not to do it, but you know, see what they say is don't do as I do, do as you should do. So you should use the jack stands. So I'm using myself and my wife. My wife's watching it so the car isn't moving too far to the right as I'm lifting up, and she's also going to let me know when the wheel is fully off the ground. So she's behind the car, pretty far away, but she's behind the car, and I'm making sure it's not slipping whatsoever off of the jacking pad. So I'm going to use the air gun now, or electric gun, and I am just going to zip off all the nuts and then take the wheel off. I am making sure we're taking these nuts off and the locking key, and we are putting them in a safe spot. Last thing you want to do is lose the key or lose the locking nut or lose the nuts that go with this rim, or mix them up, because they are very different on each set. And on the winter set, I do have a ring. It basically makes sure that the axle is touching the wheel. A hub-centric rig. I am going to put all the nuts in once this is on the vehicle, and I'm going to tighten them, but once the car is down, I will tighten the rest of the way. And at the very end, I will go around and torque them all in a star shape. As you can see, my summer wheels are on the left and my winter wheel on the right. My summer wheels are 21s on Pirelli P0s, and my winter wheel is a 20, and it is supposed to look like the Porsche sport wheels that come on like the GTS, and they are running Michelin Alpine Sport winter tires. So the front jacking point is located right here. You want to do this very slowly and make sure that you are using a pad. So I've got a pad actually for Porsche, but you can buy generic ones. You want to make sure it's fitted nicely on your jack, and you want to slowly go up until it's right on the little square, because this part is strong enough to lift the car from. Just like on the rear, I'm going to use my breaker bar. I'm just going to break all the nuts slightly. That way when I lift it, I can just zip them off with my electric gun. I am going to totally remove this one because this is the key lock one. So you can see this is the locking nut at the top. You can see it looks different. It's a star pattern, and the rest are just normal bolts. You can see here, this is the hub-centric ring. it might stay in the rim when you take your rims off, and it might not. So if it doesn't, make sure you do take it off. Make sure you tell your car that you have changed the wheels to summer wheels, because the different size will actually change how fast your speedo is showing. So all four wheels have been done. They're tightened down, but they're not torqued yet. I'm going to use my torque wrench. I do not recommend putting your tools on your other car's hood. I know my car is covered, and I know I did just do that, but I was being very careful when I set them down and very careful when I picked them up so I didn't scratch it. So Porsche recommends 160 Newton meters or 118 foot-pound of torque. So you can see here, I am actually torquing this down in a star pattern. This is actually pretty important to make sure it's done correctly. And then after the first drive, I'm going to recheck and make sure nothing has come loose. And then after 100 miles, I'll recheck and make sure nothing has come loose. And then after 1,000 miles, I will recheck it. Please subscribe and like our videos. On Mondays, we're going to try and do a dog video. On Tuesdays, we do a food video. On Wednesdays, we do either a car or a travel video. Thursdays, we do a workout video.